What's up, guys? Welcome to the Shacknews Twitch channel. Today is Monday, March 25th. It's 2019 still, last we checked. And this is the fifth episode of the Wild World of Electronic Sports with your host, Asif and Blake.
Sound resumed.
Oh man, so much exciting stuff. We've already dealt with a lot of Apple stuff. They added plus signs to everything.
And you know what's really hip and cool, guys?
Credit card companies.
Goldman Sachs fostering partnerships with Goldman Sachs. That's hip. That's all the teens are doing.
Yeah.
They managed those subprime loan packages really well in 2007.
Yeah, right. They did a great job.
You know, personally, I'm sick and tired of not having all my credit cards laser burned into titanium.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm really sick of not having all of my personal banking information on my cellular phone, which is something that people never lose.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Well, welcome to the future.
I don't know. Like, people already keep their payment information on their phone with Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or all sorts of things. But the idea that they would be like, we're reinventing the credit card, and then we're also making a credit card. I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, you guys, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But yeah,
it has nothing to do with esports.
It really doesn't. But holy crap, Goldman Sachs. When is Goldman Sachs going to get an Overwatch League team? That's the real question.
Oh man, the Goldman Sachs Wasps. I could see it now.
I don't know, man. There's just yeah. Today was just it was a very news heavy day. Some of those announcements might end up affecting esports, I guess. But for the most part,
their team mascot could be a piece of Wonder Bread with mayonnaise on it.
I mean, that sounds more like JP Morgan Chase, honestly.
Well, if everybody got their first exposure to the news about the Apple conference today, they can head over to shacknews.com and read everything that went down at the event, our recaps, our news. We got hot photos, we got embedded videos, all the hottest takes. Also on Twitter at shacknews.com.
So I don't know if you guys saw, I was 5 for 7. Esports are about competition, right? And I was 5 for 7 with my predictions. And then I was wrong about them actually. I said a gaming subscription service from Apple didn't seem likely. So I was wrong about that, but...
So did you put money down on these at a time with your book?
No, I did not.
Well, then it sounds like you were that confident.
I'm not confident in Apple. No, I don't. I'm not a big shareholder of them anymore.
Was Vegas taking odds?
No, those kinds of bets you gotta place in like England. But there's some really interesting bookies in Europe that'll take bets on just about anything.
Well, we should have a stream where we get you really tweaked up late at night and have you make weird prop bets on offshore sites.
It's like a new Salty Bets.
Mm-hmm. So what happened in esports? We didn't have you guys last week as you were on location at GDC in San Fran. Tell me a little bit about that trip.
Oh, my body is sore.
Uh-huh.
I saw a lot of things. I remember most of them. And I'll be writing about some of them.
Did you get drugged? What happened?
What? No, it's just a lot, you know.
Well, the way you described the wording you used to start that was a little concerning.
Well, it's just you see so much, right, that it's hard to keep track of everything you've seen, right? So you're seeing so many games each day over the course of a week that sometimes you can't recall everything you saw at the drop of a hat.
I don't know.
But that's why I took notes.
We both of us take notes when we go to our hands-on appointments, and it's a good thing to do for people out there who are doing events coverage. But yeah, I don't know. We saw a lot of different games at the show. I saw some cool VR stuff. I saw some VR stuff that I didn't really like. Uh, um, there was just a ton of indies that are taking their shot, which is always cool. But yeah, I think it's my takeaway was like, wow. I kept saying it. I think Blake. I was like, video games are kind of Hollywood now. It's like where the money's at. Everyone's kind of chasing it. So.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's where it's been going for almost
Mm-hmm.
as long as I've been in the industry. I came in maybe like a little over a decade ago when you really sort of saw that transition.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I think
but
why I noticed it more this year is it really felt like devs were taking almost 50-50 meetings, like 50% media, 50% money. And there's just a lot more money sloshing around the industry right now.
Are you saying that Hollywood dollar should stick to the rivers and the lakes that it's used to?
No,
no.
I'm saying that money chases money, and you look at Google Stadia, that's clearly a bigger company entering a space because they see potential revenue growth there. Apple with their arcade, which I don't know, it's a thing. Uh, these companies are all like they're looking at Fortnite and they're like, how do I get Fortnite money? So they're kind of plotting in to the games industry, and they're
Yeah.
giants. They're all bigger than the video game companies, so it's a really interesting moment. But that's why I really think this year I was kind of stunned by how many VCs, just how much more money is around gaming right now than 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's just it's kind of like I think by dollar each year, it's the largest entertainment industry.
Oh yeah.
So that is being reflected at events like this, and I just thought it was interesting talking to devs how they're talking about raising money, and it's also just they're talking about competition. Because that's another comparison to Hollywood is like you can make a great movie and sometimes it just flops.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, and then I think the buzzword this year was esports has been the buzzword the last couple of years. I thought it continued to be battle royale also a big thing.
And
But
cloud.
the cloud was probably the newer buzzword of the year. And yeah, Google definitely led the march, but I mean Xbox kind of beat Google to the punch. I feel with what is their cloud program for the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes a little more sense to me, at least at this point, because I feel like Google said we got this thing, and we're doing it, and that was about it, right?
That's right.
There wasn't much else to say other than like, yeah,
well,
look at.
They did announce that they said two things I thought were interesting. I guess they said that they're going to create their own content with their own studio run by Jade Raymond, and they said that their technology could support 1,000-person battle royale game, or just 1,000-person multiplayer game. I just thought that was a pretty bold claim, given that it's already cloud based. That you're also going to facilitate a massive multiplayer game on top of that. So I thought that was a very bold claim.
And current battle royale games already run on cloud-based dedicated servers.
Yeah. It's like, I just think they were trying to like, it's like the 7-minute abs thing, Chris, where they're like, oh, 100%. Well, we can do 1,000, and then like next year it'll be like we can do 10,000. But if that's what their metrics are, they're not going to make great games.
So Microsoft already tested the cloud-based multiplayer stuff with Crackdown 3, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, have they done it has anyone done it anywhere else at this point?
Spatial OS Improbable has helped a couple of companies do it with Unity. But not on a massive scale.
Okay. So really, the most massive scale it's been done at this point is Crackdown 3.
And that was specifically just to have buildings fall and hold sync on a game that's otherwise peer-to-peer. It's entirely possible that Crackdown could have worked if it was just a full-blown dedicated server, but I don't know. It's hard to say. It wasn't like the things they were doing in that multiplayer portion of that game where I guess it was hard to see the benefit of anything happening on a giant server farm.
Yeah. Also, then you talk about scaling that. And I think there's only 3 companies in the world that have the scale in the cloud to do this, and it's Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. So here we are, and Microsoft has xCloud, and Google has Stadia, and Jeff Bezos is probably working on something too. You know, so it's just these very massive companies that are over 600-800 billion dollars in market capitalization. They're all just like kind of slowly lumbering into the video games industry. So it's something that I think will affect esports, but it's just kind of, and you know, Chris, you mentioned in one of your articles last week about Phil Harrison saying that, like, yeah, there's going to be people who are like professional gamers that care about latency. But then, like, that's not everyone. He was kind of saying that, like, most gamers were casual, I guess. And I was just like, the kind of people that are gonna buy your fighting game, if you're really making a fighting game, hey Lucci, that's gonna be native to the platform.
Those are not going to be casuals.
Yeah, what fighting game has casual players that end up being the thing that drive it? You know, and then you think about, like, who's streaming what games. Like Sonic Fox, he streams games. Like Zero streaming games. Like these guys.
Smash may be the only one, and that's only because it has the huge crossover appeal from its IP.
Yeah, so it's just, I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done before Stadia is really fully baked. And I thought it was a very weird announcement where they didn't announce the price of the service. How are you gonna go? Yeah, if you haven't watched this interview, please do. How are you gonna go to the Game Developers Conference, right, and not explain to developers how they make money at this keynote, and then not explain to consumers how they will pay for this? It just seemed really weird that they left out that key detail. And then once again today at the Apple event, Apple didn't say how much their service cost either. But based on what I saw today, you know, it's just funny because, you know, Stadia and YouTube TV probably run on similar technologies. You know, Google's able to scale up both of those platforms. Nothing that Apple announced today made me be like, oh man, I'm going to cancel my YouTube TV subscription. You know, that's still my favorite video solution, I think, on any app. But yeah, it's a really weird landscape right now where these mega companies, like these, I think there's only 4 or maybe 5 companies that are over 500 or 600 billion dollars in market cap, and they're all in tech, and they're all looking at the video game industry, and they're kind of making their moves slowly. And I asked Jack Buser from Google about just why don't you just acquire game companies? If you're gonna be a studio, why don't just, like, I was talking to my dad about this. I'm like, so, like, you know, when you think of Nintendo, you think of Mario, right, or one of their other IPs. And you think of Xbox, you think of Master Chief or something, you know. And Sony, there's like Nathan Drake. There's all sorts of characters for Sony, like Kratos. What's Google got? You know, like
they got a giant primary colored G.
They have, yeah.
So, they put some sunglasses on that. You got cool G. You got yourself.
Google needs its own Clippy for the G Dock suite.
I think Google needs a Mario, or I don't think Assassin's Creed running on a tablet's that. it's a cool tech, and it's really impressive that it works as well as it does. But I will say I did not see them using their controller on the show floor at all. The day that I went over there to
I'm
check
calling
it out.
this presentation part of the video here where the guy takes the controller on the tablet and then immediately is playing on the TV without any syncing. I call fake news on that as a person that's tried to do this with an Xbox One controller.
Mm-hmm. But then again, he is using the Google controller, which is connected. But you saw that he was connected there.
He was hardwired to the tablet.
Yeah, so
maybe the controller can run in dual states where you're Bluetooth to one device and connect it to another.
Yeah, so I agree with your shenanigans call there. I wasn't able. I had a behind closed door meeting with Google. They did not demonstrate the controller working. They just let me get hands on with it, like literally touch the controller and push the buttons, take pictures of it.
Wait,
but
so can't confirm the buttons are real?
Yeah, those are real buttons.
Real buttons.
Confirmed. Trigger's nice. The triggers are better than the Switch controller.
Yeah. Are they tactile?
They're they have pressure sensitivity, which I think is a huge problem with the Pro controller on Switch. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, every demo I saw, it was running with a Logitech USB.
They're unifying a receiver.
Yeah, so it wasn't. They weren't demonstrating this. That's what I mean. Like this whole presentation felt kind of half baked, especially after leaving the show. And devs don't really seem to understand what's going on either, except for the ones like apparently Ubisoft has already partnered with them, so they've been working on stuff. Clearly, id Software has been working with them. I guess it's running on Vulkan.
Yeah, so everything they showed outside of Unity or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I believe was a custom one-off build, the Google commission. Everything was stuff that's already on Steam that's listed that runs on Vulkan on Linux, which is that's why they showed Rise of the Tomb Raider, the older one, rather than the current Shadow of the Tomb Raider, since Rise already has an available Vulkan port on Linux.
So what you're saying is that 2019 is truly the year of the Linux desktop.
Yeah, although that joke, I mean, it's still hilarious, but I think a lot of times people have overlooked just how far Steam has taken it on the Linux side, and you can actually get a lot of stuff done, including the Photon program and all that. So, yeah, I mean,
Linux has been great for years, and but I really think that this controller could be what makes Linux the greatest operating system ever. No.
But I guess the question comes back, why do you pay Google to do this when Steam has already got a well-developed Linux client and has their own streaming, and they put in the work over the years to make sure all your controllers and all the stuff works,
Because they can stream in 8K.
Yeah, that's also fake news. Well, at least for 2019.
But look at this. Look at this presentation. 8K, Chris. Look, they're clapping. They were clapping at 4K. But then, no. But wait.
Yeah, like in the interview, the guy said that, for optimum experience, they recommend 5 megabits per second. And then later on, it's like, well, we recommend 25 for 1080p.
Yeah.
And so if you're recommending 25 for 1080p, 8K is 8 times as much info. So, not that it's a direct analogy, but 8 times 25 is probably like over 75. I don't math. But that's a lot of bandwidth, assuming that, someone's going to stream a 4K. Obviously, they're probably going to encode this in HEVC X265. It's the only way you get away with this bandwidth-wise, but that is a heavy-duty load to encode on the fly. Not that Google can't do it with their stuff. They already encode a lot of VP9, which is their codec they use for their 4K on YouTube, which is completely what I would expect this to be delivered with. Since Google uses their own in-house stuff, but it's all interesting. But I guess the proof is in the pudding when they actually launch and when you can, play it.
I actually went to this stinking keynote. I was sitting there, Chris, and I didn't get anything. I was told that there would be snacks. There weren't.
I thought they were going to announce a phone that was that wide format where it's like, 45 by 9 phone, just like that big display on stage.
An ultra wide tablet.
The ultra wide cell phone.
Oh man, bringing that ultra wide life to cell phones. I think we just created a product.
I mean, phones now are already like 18 by 9 or whatever. They're getting longer.
Yeah. The mega phone?
They decided 16 by 9. They couldn't sell any more of those. They're like, let's just change this shit for no reason.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, I did try this. I did try Assassin's Creed, and it wasn't terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It ran okay. I will say that one of the demos I saw in West Hall, when you're streaming video and like your bandwidth slows and then you get all blocky and pixelated?
Mm-hmm.
That happened.
Yeah, that happened when I used well, I know they don't call it Project Stream anymore, but they had, so going back to November, they had a beta of this that anybody could try. Most people signed up before because they promised you a free copy of Odyssey on Uplay for PC users if you agreed to enter and try out the beta for the Project Stream. I like trying new stuff anyway, so I did it. And, it works, but you definitely feel the latency. I had lots of chops and freezes, lots of compression blocks, like you mentioned, although I live somewhere where the internet is not super hot, so I'm maybe the exception to the norm. Like, I've got 300 and something megabits down, but it's not... like, there's times when I have trouble just doing YouTube, given afternoon or whatever, so...
Well, there's also throttling going on.
Yeah. The technology, is a proof of concept. It does work, but I believe a lot of the claims from the show were a little oversold, or at least not upfront with the folks that this is, we'll deliver this kind of quality and stuff at a future time, not necessarily as of March 2019.
Nintendo and Sony stock were both down 3% on the news of Google Stadia being announced, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's so premature to think that this would replace consoles. And then you started to see this backlash from physical collectors, people who care about input latency, right? A lot of people with internet issues. There was so many that wide demographic that the CEO Sundar Pichai laid out at the beginning of the presentation started to fragment so quickly because of just problems with infrastructure in America. And if our internet was faster, I think this would be a compelling product. But I think for a lot of people, it's not going to work. And that could lead to just really bad early reviews from consumers. And I don't know. It's a Google service, so it could be gone in 2 years. Hey, Bad Kitty. Hey, Lucci. Hey, Mobab.
I really do think that Google will drop this by the end of the year, because that seems to be what they do with anything they announce at GDC. Honestly, they announce it. People are just kind of like, really, Google, really, and then you never really hear about it again. Look at anytime they seem to announce a physical product, it seems to just not work out for them.
I don't know. Pixel seems to have worked out.
Yeah, their phones seem to be the exception to the rule, but just about everything else they've tried to make.
And it seems like people like the Google Home speaker.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people with that.
I paid money for a Logitech review first gen Google TV box one time, and it's the greatest regret of my entire life.
So I have a Google Home that a friend gave to me, and I keep it in my restroom because if something's going to be always on in my house, I'm putting it in the bathroom. So if they really want to listen,
you never know when you want a recording of that big moment.
Yeah. So, but what I noticed is the Google Home really isn't that intuitive. I seem to have an easier time with Alexa when I'm making. Just as far as like playing, if I want to, I'll ask it to play something like 80s punk music, and it'll just start playing a bunch of new wave stuff randomly. Sounds nothing like.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll try and get more specific with it, and it'll just be like, here's a playlist called 90s grunge, and I'm just like, no, that's not what I wanted to listen to.
It's tying into the half-baked Google Music service.
Yeah.
And then it's also tying into this the Google Assistant, where you're going to be able to ask for guides in Stadia. There was also this whole streaming aspect of it, where you could play with people who are watching you. You could launch the game from YouTube in Chrome. I don't know. There's so many just like, hey, what if we did this thing features in this that, yeah, I'd like to see the fully baked product before I review it or whatever, but I have a ton of concerns. And I raised them in the interview, and I really didn't get many answers. If you watch it, like, it was very canned PR responses to me, and that's fine. But that was our first interview with Google, so definitely check that out if you missed it.
So the other thing I'm curious is, why are they entering such a saturated market?
Because they have no growth, or their growth is slowing, and they see video games as growth. You look at the 10-year numbers on video games, or the 5-year numbers, it's growing faster as a medium than any other entertainment industry. So they're like, well, instead of going after Apple and whatever, or Netflix, they're deciding to go into gaming. And I think it's because they're already doing this in the cloud. Like I said, there's 3 companies that would do this. They already have the data centers and whatever tech to do it, and they announced that these would be run on AMD processors, and their stock went up on the news. It was just, I think it was all really laughable. I'm like, I don't know if AMD is really going to benefit from Stadia. I just think that there's a lot of very quick reactions to this. So it was a splash, and shareholders seem to be happy about it. But yeah, they're comparing Stadia to 5-year-old consoles or 3-year-old consoles at this point, and it's just not. I don't know. It was a very weird presentation, and I don't think this threatens anything that resembles, what would be used in an esport event. You look at either PCs with keyboard and mouse input, or you look at.
Well, think about all the cellular interference at a game tournament, right? That's gotta make it really hard to stream anything. Like, that's why.
I would hope any game tournament I entered would be using hardwire connections, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
All your 2.4 gigahertz is going to be taken up by wireless controllers, assuming people are going to use them.
Chris, like, you're going to have this Stadia event, and everyone's using these Google controllers. I'm like, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I just don't see it happening. So
it'll happen. It'll happen in Vegas.
So a thing I noticed
every time I've gone to a bad idea electronic sports event,
it's always like arena.
It's always some like really, really sad event in Vegas where they just don't get the outcome that they expected. Yeah, so if they do that, then it's really gonna fail.
I was surprised that this is even happening, because the CFO of Google's pretty conservative, and I just don't see how they're gonna make money off of this yet. Yeah, I don't know. There's just the economy of how it works for them wasn't explained. The economy of how it works for devs wasn't explained, and how it works for consumers, it wasn't explained. And then, yeah, Phil Harrison took a shot at people who strive to be really good at video games in an interview with Ars Technica or something.
Do you think they have answers to any of that stuff yet?
No, and that's the problem. Why are you even doing a keynote? What is this?
So I'd like to mention, they made their claims of 1080p, 144 hertz, 4K, all this stuff, and I stopped the video here when they explained their their spec sheet for the virtual machines they're using. And obviously they're going with AMD solution, Ryzen on the CPU. And I noticed the specs they showed the GPU, they made the big comparison to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, which is kind of laughable now anyway because those were already behind what was the $120 GPU back when they came out in 2013. But they mentioned here that the GPU they're using something custom. It's 10.7 teraflops. It has 56 compute units running on HBM2, and that's surprisingly similar to the GPU from 2 years ago. AMD released the Vega 64, which had 64 compute units, and they had the Vega 56 version with 56 compute units. It used HBM2 memory, and this thing shows that they're sharing the system memory with the GPU, since they've got this custom all built together chip. And it's probably safe to assume this is, Vega 56 graphics with the Ryzen chip. And you can already kind of know how that runs, based on, we've had this hardware available for years now on the PC. You know how these games run with them. Even something as specific as how does, it run Odyssey. And I just don't think that those claims they're making of the performance stuff they were showing is realistic, especially in the case where most games can't make use of parallel if they want to dump an extra GPU in the load, especially in the case of the one they showed off Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That game doesn't use SLI or multi-GPU either in Direct3D 12 or whatever it does, much less the Vulkan version. And it's just, I don't know. I just thought with them releasing the specs like that it was kind of crazy to go with the other claims they made, unless there's something that we don't know that they do about how their underlying Linux Vulkan set is going to be insanely more efficient than what developers have already cranked out the Windows versions of the games.
Yep.
I want to see what a first party Google game looks like, though.
Well, we'll see you in 4 years. Assuming you mean AAA, I guess.
I don't know. Hopefully something A, at least one A.
I feel like this upcoming E3 may be the first time we get an official look at CG trailers or whatever for the first wave of Amazon Game Studios games, because it's been about the right amount of time since they made all their big acquisitions, announced their engine and all that stuff. These games take a while. And I figured, we're about at that time. If Amazon is going to make their big play, I think we may see it at E3.
Have you not seen New World yet, Chris?
Here and there. The MMO?
That's what Amazon's been working on.
Oh, I thought they had like 10 or 12 projects up.
Games? Oh, that's all I've seen so far is New World. So yeah, maybe.
I remember a couple years ago they made the claim that they were going big in, and I figured this is about the timetable.
So do you think this is all because of Amazon? Do you think this is Google?
No, I think it matches up with what Asif said, that the dollar is here and people are chasing that dollar. There's room for growth, there's room for expansion, and so everybody's competing for everybody's leisure time. People don't necessarily go on vacations to Disney World or random trips to the beach, or they don't go to the movies as much as they used to. But people are still going to have their leisure time. They're still going to dump dollars into something. And these companies are going to scratch and claw against each other to find a way to get that leisure time money, whether, whatever form it takes, to be the video games, streaming video, whatever they think that people are going to spend it with, they want that dollar.
It runs CryEngine.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to shout it from the mountaintops.
Bad kitty, you don't have to rub it in that you are able to go to the beach and to the movies.
I was just like,
sorry, we can't live your fairy tale life.
When I saw CryEngine, I was just, oh man, it was a thing of beauty.
Well, we've been a while here, 45 minutes talking about your GDC trip. Did esports happen this weekend? Is there anything to talk with about that?
Overwatch League.
Overwatch League.
1 playoffs happened.
That's right. It was the first.
Ozzy wrote up the winner. If you scroll past all of the crazy amounts of news that hit the front page today. Somewhere.
Do we have a link?
Yeah, we have a link.
Chat.
Oh, there it is. So yeah, you had the Vancouver Titans winning.
Can you believe that?
I believe in miracles.
some of the most polite
I wouldn't say
young
that.
gentlemen.
They are Overwatch League players.
They're from Vancouver, though.
They're not from Vancouver. No one in
that's
Overwatch
right.
League
That's right.
is actually,
they're not actually from where they're from.
No.
Oh, I kind of wish it was different. Like, I can get why you have to do that with professional sports.
These guys look like they're from Alabama to me.
They might as well
might
be.
be.
That's all I'm saying.
They're
not necessarily from the city that they're representing. But yeah, you had the New York Excelsior got knocked out on Thursday.
You believe? Oh, so much for their perfect season.
Yeah,
the Houston Outlaws did them in.
Was it the Outlaws or was it the Seoul Dynasty?
Toyota commercial they didn't pay us for. Let me skip that. By the way, Toyota, if you're here, we're always listening. The phone is ready to be answered.
We could all use.
Okay, yeah, it was the Outlaws. My bad. But yeah, the Excelsior had been undefeated, right? And,
but so had Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver is still undefeated, and technically the Excelsior are undefeated in season play, like regular season play. They lost in the stage 1 playoffs. So now we get a week off, you guys. We don't have to talk about Overwatch next week.
So we get a fortnight off of Overwatch? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we do. We get a fortnight out of talking about Overwatch.
A bye week.
So I don't know if you guys saw this, but this was the first time Overwatch League was broadcast on ABC, and there was some backlash. I don't know if you guys follow Slasher on Twitter. Rod Lazo. He's Ichiban esports consultant. He's basically the Adrian Wojnarowski of esports. So yeah, shout out to Rod. He was posting. He was basically monitoring the conversation in chatter on Facebook and Twitter about it. Here's some interesting quotes. It's just, oh my god, network television, ABC is now airing video game competitions like it's a sporting event. Oh, the humanity. NRA must love this. A team of children participating in a massacre with handguns. That was an actual comment.
This is the same network, Prestige Network, that aired Urkel.
Yep. Are you kidding me? Video game competition on national TV? Is there nothing better for ABC to air? Oh yeah, the NCAA tournament is on 4 networks. Sorry, ABC, no one is watching you while there are real sports being played. Now, mind you, there was like 170,000 people or something watching Overwatch League on Twitch as this happened. As it was not like no one was watching.
So, what were the numbers for the actual television broadcast, though?
I don't think they've revealed that yet.
I mean, it's Nelson ratings, right? I think that's public. I think we can find out. Let's see if let's clack on our keyboards and investigate. Have Lola look it up for us.
Lola, do you know what it was?
She's just looking at you.
He does not have it. There's nothing. I see nothing on the internet about it.
So
you don't really send out press releases when the numbers aren't good. you know?
Yeah. So do you think
I got some more good ones though. Here's a good one. ABC is treating nerds playing video games like it's the NCAA tournament. That's pretty solid.
So do you think Baptiste is affecting the pro league at this point?
I think Baptiste is pretty disruptive, yeah.
And do you think that could have been like what caused
New York to lose?
Yeah, New York to lose.
I don't know. I just think they were kind of off. I didn't catch that game. I caught the final, San Francisco versus Vancouver, and I thought the Shock had a chance, man. They were kind of they were not. I have to look at the standings. Yeah, they came in tied for 6th in stage 1, right? They were 4-3, and they just kind of kept upsetting people in their bracket. It was pretty exciting to get behind them, because it wasn't just Excelsior versus Titans. Like it wasn't chalk. Like this was. I think that was a cool aspect of this stage of playoffs. And yeah, I think the meta's definitely being affected by Baptiste right now.
Do they really have a league going on where a new character is introduced in mid-season or whatever play?
Yes, I think. Is Baptiste not? Is he not playable?
I was just wondering because that sounds suspect as hell.
I thought
they also. You want to talk about suspect, dude? This is Infobiter pointed this out on the chatty. Shout out to Infobiter. He's a top boy. He subs to the channel. He said they reseeded their finals. So Seoul Dynasty ranked 7 beat New York Excelsior ranked 2 in an early bracket. And in an early, setting them up for a solid chance of getting into the finals with the bracket as published, right? So instead reseeded the brackets so that after beating the number 2 team, Seoul had to play against the number 1 team in their next spot in the bracket. You want to talk about making rules and changing them mid-competition? They literally did that.
That sounds like some Twitch, whatever the word is, stuff where you change the things
Twitch
in mid Twitch rivals. Yeah. It's going to be hard for esports to grow when you've got this Mickey Mouse shit going on during legit competitions.
Not to mention, it's still incredibly hard to watch this if you don't know what's going on. Now, anyone who's played Team Fortress understands what's happening on screen, but
I don't know.
Maybe not. It's kind of hard. I thought the commentators did a pretty decent job of explaining what was going on. So I think this esport continues to be challenged in finding an audience. And someone was asking me at GDC if people even play Overwatch anymore. And I think they do. I think there's still a large market of people who play the game, but I think playing the game is more fun than watching it. And that's that's not always the case on Twitch, but I think in the case of Overwatch, it's hard to watch unless you get really invested in your team, right? But it's certainly something that if you're just flipping through the channels and it's 4 NCAA games are being broadcast and then it's going to be a jolt, right? But I thought that that reaction on the internet was probably I remember hearing that on ESPN, and now they have no problem with that, and TBS has their Street Fighter shows with the E-League, so I think this is just a natural progression from cable channels to an actual broadcast network.
Yeah, I mean NBC was showing Street Fighter tournament after Saturday Night Live just a few weeks ago as well, so it's not super uncommon.
No, I think that because it was literally aired against the NCAA basketball tournament, that a lot of, maybe you could describe them as jocks, felt like it was a good time to talk smack about video games not being a sport.
Analog sports bros.
Yeah, analog sports bros. We love our electronic sports. Even if I don't necessarily like watching this game, I appreciate the work that all of these esports players put into it. It must be, it's grueling to practice an FPS game. And a lot of these folks, they spend a lot of time playing this game instead of playing anything else, instead of doing anything else. So
yeah, hours at your computer, playing, practicing.
Yeah,
trying to be the best.
Yeah, so I appreciate what they're doing. It's just not my favorite thing to watch. But yeah, so there was some Smash this weekend.
Of course,
it seems like I say that every weekend.
That's because you are dedicated to constantly talking about Smash.
I mean, that was part of the deal when we decided to do this show. I was like, I was gonna talk about Smash pretty much every episode.
There was no deal. There was just a statement, a declaration.
It was just like, we are going to do a Twitch show about esports, and I'm going to talk about Smash every week, and it's going to be great.
Is this your
So,
want?
so we had Full Bloom 5 this weekend. Beyond the Smash, the folks that did the summit, they held another tournament. They're kind of killing it, honestly, as a grassroots organization that's really helping Smash kind of pop off. It's been exciting to see. So they had a 1v1 tournament that had some really interesting characters. Blake, I don't know if you remember, I was talking to you about it last night when we were playing Rocket League. We had a Zero Suit Samus versus Inkling finals.
What the hell is that? I mean,
so Zero Suit Samus is from Metroid, right?
Yeah. No, I get that. I understand that. And the Inklings from Splatoon, right?
Yeah, but Zero Suit Samus is like her without her Metroid outfit on.
Yeah, it's a different. She's a different character. She doesn't control the same as regular Samus or Dark Suit Samus.
That's right. I actually prefer playing with Zero Suit Samus to Samus or Dark Samus. But yeah, to see Samus versus Inkling in the finals was pretty crazy. And yeah, you had it was a pretty interesting fight. I don't really think Inkling is top tier. They're a weird character. They're definitely more powerful than a lot of them, but they have it's hard to knock people out with them. You can get a lot of damage on someone, but like, those knockout smashes that really take a 40. But he just did a great job there. So yeah, I think we had it was Cosmos versus Mars in the finals, and I think the semi or the losers semi had a Game & Watch player in there, and it was like the funniest thing seeing like a pro playing with Mr. Game & Watch, because he's not the easiest player to play with, and he was doing a great job with him. And Game & Watch has like literally the same kind of animation Game & Watch does, like the actual platform.
Oh, the like LCD screen sort of.
Yeah. So you just it's a really funny character to watch in Smash. And I was surprised. I think this wasn't as full of a roster of players as some other tournaments this year. It was just I probably had less prize money too, but it was cool to see some of these folks come out, and to see a Zero Suit Samus take the whole tournament was surprising.
Man, here's the thing. These are two characters you don't really see too often in the professional Smash, but I think that's sort of the meta of Smash, right? Is if you can pull out a character that isn't top ranked and just own and wreck shop with them, then I think that's going to give you a leg up in a tournament. Like let's say you kind of play top ranked characters through most of the tournament, other than decide to go for someone completely random that people aren't used to playing against for that like final round. That's going to give you a psychological advantage and probably a bit of a tactical one as well.
Keeps the other competitors from practicing against all the subtleties of that character as well.
Yeah, because people have like scouting reports on each other and they know how to play certain characters. I did see that a little bit at Summit. I saw character switches going on, because I do think that this is a game of matchups. So I think you're right about that. But I do think that there are some players that are there's some characters that are just bad. And they like would not in pro play, they just do not fly.
Okay, I mean that's reasonable, but there's such
but
a large number of characters.
yeah, with
There's so
74
much
playable
variety.
characters right now, you're right. Like there's going to be a matchup like this where uh Zero Suit Samus has a great recovery, but is also really powerful. It has like great combos. So she can do some serious damage. She's almost like similar to Bayonetta, but wasn't nearly as powerful in Smash 4. Whereas Inkling is new to this series, and I think Nintendo made it. I think they try to make their IP good, like look good. So I think
Yeah.
we talked about that with the Fire Emblem characters, and I think the same is true with the Inklings. It was definitely back and forth this match. Oh, we got a bit. What a top boy, Arm Squires.
He's drizzling. Drizzling.
He's Drizzle King. Made it rain.
Oh dang!
We got that
them
Dave
bits.
Chappelle animation.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. That's what. This is why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm. But look at that crowd. Like, there's a sizable crowd there watching this tournament.
Oh yeah, where was this held?
I have no idea. Somewhere
On Earth.
Hopefully. Earth. Let's see. See if I can find that out for you.
It definitely wasn't in my hometown.
Would you have gone, Chris?
No. I would have hung out in the parking lot and tried to sell drugs or something.
Or like knock off T-shirts.
Yeah, I'd have been selling Dale Earnhardt T-shirts in the parking lot.
Stickers of Wario peeing on a
Ford. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Let's see. Bloomington.
Is that in Iowa? Delaware?
Kentucky?
Is that Illinois?
It sounds Midwest as all hell.
It sounds like Illinois. And they also had a Melee tournament, you guys. Did you see?
They did. We had the grand finals featured Zane versus SFET. Is that a real name?
That sounds real.
We got some footage of it here.
Wow. Just shout out, man, to the Melee community.
Still you see that CRT dominating the side of the frame.
I love it. Little fist bump beforehand.
Yeah.
Not as many people watching this, although there does look like somebody. What was that? Was that a Texas state flag?
Yeah.
Representing
for Texas.
Well, who's representing for Texas here?
I have no idea.
At least that guy in the crowd.
I'm shocked a Fox made it to the finals. How shocking. Yeah, I was playing quite a bit with Star Wolf this weekend, or this past week, because we had quite a few Shack staff in San Francisco. So I brought my Switch and 4 Pro controllers, Chris. So we threw down 2 nights. It was pretty awesome. We had Hammersuit, John Benjamin stopped by. We had Greg there. Blake and I were there playing.
Yeah, Ozzy played.
And then Ozzy rolls by. So get this, Chris. We play Smash, and then we decided to play. I think we're getting dinner or something. So we're passing around the Switch playing Tetris 99. Ozzy wins back-to-back games of Tetris 99. Like, it's no big deal.
I mean, he is the senior editor.
Yeah, clearly. I was like, okay, so he really is the one. But that was...
It was insane. It was insane to watch.
Yeah.
The first match he won, he played for like 20 solid minutes in like one round. Took it home. And it gets fast. It gets like so fast that I don't think I could react as fast
Greg described it like watching Ozzy play Tetris gives me anxiety, and I was like, yeah, that pretty much nails it. Like it was like it's intense, man. That I played it last night, Blake. I got to top 5. I was pretty bummed out about that, but I still, that game's excellent, and I view it as an electronic sport. Tetris is definitely
absolutely.
There's definitely some electronic sports competitions being done every year. And yeah, the world record holder for most points, he keeps streaming. You know, he won the Tetris World Championship last year, Joseph Sally. So he's kind of started streaming, and during his streams, he goes after world records. It's pretty fun to watch. But yeah, I was just excited to see Melee is still popping after all these years. It is different though, because you have some of the really big Melee players have moved to Ultimate. Armada, Leffen, Mango. So quite a few of these dudes have moved over to streaming and playing competitive Ultimate. And, Armada has that work ethic. I think Melee players in general have a work ethic because they, you have to practice this meta. All fighting games are like that. But for a game that's 20 years old, or however old it is. Also, some other Melee news. I don't know if you guys saw this on Shacknews. I think it was probably this morning. God, there's so many news stories on the site today. I'm on page 4. I still don't see it. There it is. Melee was nominated for World Video Game Hall of Fame induction. So check out that article if you're into Melee.
World Video Game Hall of Fame?
Mm-hmm. It would be the first in series history to be inducted.
Ooh, where is this Hall of Fame?
That's a good question.
How do I go and visit it?
Let's see. Well, you have to click the link, and it's taking its sweet time. They have a very slow website. That's all I can tell you, Blake.
How does it take 20 years for a game like Smash to get in there?
Well, the list of finalists, it says, are Candy Crush, Centipede, Colossal Cave Adventure, DDR, Half-Life, Windows Solitaire, Mortal Kombat, Myst, NBA 2K, Civilization, Mario Kart, and Melee.
So is this a new thing then? Because it seems like a lot of those should already be in there.
Yeah, it's in New York. I think it's like an extension of a Toy Hall of Fame. It's called the Strong. It's the National Museum of Play, and the World Video Game Hall of Fame has only been around since 2015. So, first induction was World of Warcraft. That seems criminal. Like Pac-Man. Okay, Pac-Man was also inducted in 2015. Okay. Pong was also inducted in 2015.
Not Miss Pac-Man?
No.
Ooh.
That is some BS.
Criminal. I'm gonna say screw this place. They don't know what they're doing.
No, look at the first class. No, wait, hold on. Look at this first class. It's not bad, okay? First class. Tetris, World of Warcraft, Super Mario Bros, Pac-Man, Doom, Pong. Not bad.
That was it?
That was it.
That's not unreasonable for a first year.
And then the second year, 2016, the year the Cleveland Cavaliers came back and beat the Golden State Warriors. Sonic the Hedgehog, Space Invaders, The Oregon Trail, Grand Theft Auto 3, The Legend of Zelda, and The Sims.
Oh man,
can't really disagree with those.
Yeah, but I would have all those in there already. They would have just
they should have just dumped like 1,000 in at the very beginning.
Yeah, Yeah,
Like,
maybe you can only have a handful of inductees each year if you're the
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
yeah.
But when there's hundreds of thousands
Well, they're
of
doing it
video
like the
games coming out each
WWF
year,
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Okay, so then here's
they
2017.
can kiss my ass. I'm
Here's
sorry.
2017.
Who the
This
hell
is
are
a hot take.
Wait, who put these?
They're so good that their website never loads.
It's really slow. Pokemon Red and Green for 2017. Street Fighter 2. Donkey Kong. Halo Combat Evolved.
Never heard of it.
And that was it. And then get this. In 2018, this is gonna really get Blake going. I'll save that one for last. Final Fantasy VII. That's fine. Space War. Tomb Raider. And John Madden Football. So John Madden Football got in before Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
That is just some mugum. This is really...
How is this? Who? No.
Their website is very slow. That's all I gotta say.
Maybe we should start our own Hall of Fame.
I'm very close to cussing at these.
With hookers and blue.
I'm trying not to say the F word right now. I'm trying real hard here, Asif.
Blake, start your own Hall of Fame.
Yeah, seriously.
Just invite people to your apartment. Let them go through the hall.
Now, here, because I don't own all the games that would be in my Hall of Fame.
Well, so
this here's a picture of a Double Dragon cabinet.
So the one thing I was thinking is that guy that lives in Australia that has that super excellent collection of video games. That should be where the Hall of Fame is, and you could send Sam over there.
Yeah.
To inspect it. I can't remember the guy's name, but there is a freshly renovated and redone. And the guy has dedicated his life to turning his home into a museum for all things games, and has done just an outstanding job. I need to find a video of it, but I may work on that while Blake tries to cool down.
Okay.
I don't know if it's possible. I'm just gonna go there and I'm just gonna kick everybody.
No, I mean
kick everything.
Yeah, it's in New York.
I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna slap them all. Who are? It's just some jerks that decided they were in charge, huh? Like they got no authority. I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna take over. Go in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slap them all.
You're gonna go there, slap them all, and then take over.
Yeah, they're gonna keep getting slapped till they learn.
Mm-hmm.
I am not playing. I'm not messing around. They're doing a horrible job.
What do we got here?
The guy's name is The Last Gamer. He's Australian that runs this amazing video game museum. There's a video I found where they go and do a short walkthrough with it with Austin Creed, aka Xavier Woods. Mm-hmm. He brings some of his buddies and they get the grand tour.
He was at Nindy's.
Yeah, he was at Nindy's. I rode in an elevator with him.
He was at GDC, just doing his thing.
I believe they were also at the Mortal Kombat reveal as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting up all the big stuff.
He's totes influencer, bro.
I think I saw Sean Astin there too. I'm still pretty sure.
I don't know how big Australia is, but we should ask Sam if he drinks beer with this guy, or whatever Australians do.
They drink beer.
I'm assuming it's like the size of Delaware, right? Australia can't be very big.
They play didgeridoos. They play didgeridoos. They throw boomerangs, and they hang out and play. Wow, this guy's place is awesome. He has a child too.
Yeah, so let's put the video game museum here instead of in New York.
All you have to do is start collecting every video game ever released in their original box.
No, I mean at this guy's house.
Oh yeah, that's my argument.
Yeah.
You can see physical copies of all the real deal, and he's got working copies of all the machines, and allows people to come in and actually boot these things up.
This reminds me of the Maid here in Oakland, California. It's a very similar setup in that they have a huge collection of games across every generation, and you can just go in there and check them out. Hang out. It does cost a fee to get in, but yeah, I would say that both the Maid and this private collector have got this museum beat hands down.
Yeah, I mean, it seems arbitrary to only induct like 4 games a year when you're a video game museum that just started in 2015. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, get that GFO.
But I'm still happy that Melee is going to be included in that mess. Despite all of Blake's hatred for them, I still...
I don't know. I think I'm justified.
If I'm not mistaken, that keyboard they're showing is the one that all the Konami songs were written on and composed on.
Whoa.
Like the Castlevania stuff and all that.
Like that actual keyboard? Like
yes.
That keyboard?
It was in the one they did all the compositions for the 8-bit and arcade stuff.
So if I kill this man, like, do I get his powers? Like,
well, assuming that Australia runs on Highlander rules, I guess. Yeah, we might want to ask Sam on that.
We need to get Sam in here. We got some Australia questions.
I mean, it was a prison colony, right? So...
Wait, Sam's a convict?
Well, Sam is probably related to ancient convicts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like a long time ago. But I don't really know that much about, Sam's relatives though, so.
We don't want to speak anything out of line here. We're just making educated guesses, and we're being pretty fair.
Does this guy have an Apple Pippin?
If it played a game, this guy's got it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll have to remember to link these to you after we're done. But it's pretty interesting. There's several part where they go through it all. The thing I want to ask you about, Blake, is a wild mirror match for Street Fighter V happened over the past week. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Oh my god, this match is insane. This was at a Japanese tournament. Do you know which tournament this was, Alsif?
I don't. I just saw this and was like, we have to put it on the show because it was freaking awesome.
Perfectly symmetrical combat.
2 Ryus
never solved
enter.
Anything.
Yeah.
One Ryu leaves, but yeah, these two guys go at it, and at first they're pretty much just exact same thing.
From what I read, Sony of Japan, I believe, or Capcom of Japan set up this meeting of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to choreograph the ultimate fight, as they're both insanely talented.
This was choreographed.
Yes, this was not a actual fight.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
Because no actual guys would just throw fireball after fireball at the star like that and not move or play footy. It's an impressive display of skill, no matter how you shake it, though.
Yeah. Whatever this is why I want to go live in Japan.
How are the tacos over there?
Surprisingly good.
Yeah, you did find tacos very close to our hotel.
Yeah, in Tokyo.
They were pretty decent.
Yeah, there are decent ones in Nagoya, too. We're not talking California level tacos, but serviceable.
But we could save that for sauce talk.
Yeah. Oh man, I have some sauce talk.
All right, we'll talk sauce in a little bit here.
Yeah.
So
that's what they call a tease in the biz.
Yeah, right. So another big thing that happened today is Apple had their show where they introduced their News Plus and their TV Plus, but maybe the showstopper of the event, would it be fair to say that they had some celebrities come by, and then they had a special celebrity to wrap up the the show, possibly the most influential and powerful woman in all of the world media, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
And she made her big show or debut with Apple for the announcement. I figured we'd talk a little bit about that.
That's right. Oprah announced the Hunger Games were coming to the iPhone. She would be choosing representatives from each colony to fight in the Hunger Games, and they would be sponsored by Apple Plus.
This was
not what actually
cool,
happened.
This was a pretty cool little video they showed before they brought Oprah out. I thought Oprah was being made CEO of Apple at one point during this presentation. Like when Tim Cook bowed to her, I was like, oh, okay. So now Oprah's in charge?
Tim Cook reacted to being close to Oprah the same way I would react to being close to the Macho Man if it were to happen and I was filmed.
He was wiping tears from his eyes.
I don't know. I mean, it is Oprah, right? Like the Oprah, not just not just some random Oprah.
It's not the animatronic one they often roll out.
Yeah, this is like make or break book of the month club. Like hang out with Stedman and Gail.
Look at her, just rocking it, just Oprah-fied. She's not there to talk about how much she loves bread. Probably she didn't bring up bread once. She was like, let's get this bread.
She did clap her way through some of the announcement.
She did.
She did her patented Oprah vibrato.
Yeah.
She announced a pair of interesting sounding documentary projects as well as the relaunch of her book club for the 21st century, so that was pretty big news.
In case
Apple
you were
TV
wondering
plus Oprah is
what you need to read. But this is going to be the ultimate book club. There's a plus sign in front of this book club.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you. And I
just gotta ask you, what's cooler than Goldman Sachs and Oprah?
What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
Ice cold.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't do much better than Goldman Sachs and Oprah.
They are the coolest. They define cool. They're like the James Dean of our generation.
You know what I mean? Like, when I think disruption and tech, I think Goldman Sachs and Oprah.
I always think of rich old white people and billionaires when I think of the future of mankind.
But, Oprah's been pretty cool as a billionaire, I gotta say.
Hey, billionaires can be cool. I'm not saying
there's
a
couple. There's a couple out there.
But she's still one of our dystopian rulers.
Yeah, sure. But you know what? It was a big deal. She was their one more thing.
Well,
they didn't say one more thing, but that she was the last announcement that Oprah has been working.
How much of their budget do you think went to Oprah? Just for
I would say $150-200 million went to Oprah.
Enough to bring Tim Cook to tears.
Yeah, enough to make Tim Cook cry.
I can't wait for that to become the meme of the year.
Oprah eat his baby last night or something.
That'd be awful. That's not something you joke about, Blake.
Tim Cook does not have any kids.
He's crying. Well, not anymore. Now that he let Oprah eat his first child.
I don't know if you know much about Tim Cook, but yeah, he does not.
You haven't read her writer.
Maybe it was his. I don't know, but yeah, good for Oprah, good for Apple. It's a big day for fans of Oprah.
What do you think is the first book in her new book?
I actually thought Big Bird might have been the biggest news of the show.
I was the most excited for Big Bird.
I feel like they just used Big Bird to give the rub to the little girl because they didn't think she could carry it on her own. Kind of like when wrestling rolled out The Rock to shake hands with Roman Reigns when nobody liked him.
Well, that's the whole thing with this thing. Like, this whole presentation was Tim Cook and And he's like, and now this guy's going to come out and present something. So, for me, Big Bird is basically the new Steve Jobs. Like, we should just have him run keynotes. And, like, do demos with the gloves on.
Well, let's do a pivot to something only slightly more depressing than Oprah being the overlord of all media in the world.
Steven Spielberg?
Asif, you mentioned you got into a little bit of the AAF this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely acknowledging its existence so that it doesn't disappear like the XFL before it. But yeah, we should probably pull up the standings for the AAF. So the Orlando Apollos, which is still the worst team name, finally lost a game. They are now 6-1. My team, the Birmingham Iron, are 4-3. Blake's team, the San Antonio Commanders, they're first in the Western Conference.
That's right.
5-2.
With a commanding lead. Whoop, whoop.
And yeah, let's talk about this real quick, Chris. Johnny Manziel is on the Memphis Express, and he completed a pass. That's amazing.
Don't sound surprised.
So, Asif, I wish you would tell me when these games are on.
What do you want me to like tweet at you when the games come on?
You can text me. You can call me.
Text.
Do you want us to subscribe you to TV Guide? Like,
how? I mean, I can't. I don't even know when they're on. Like, how am I supposed to tell you? It's very hard to keep track of. So, is this the NFL Network was reporting on this? Is that what's going on here?
The NFL Network carries these games live as well as CBS Sports Online and other outlets.
Really?
You guys, I'm disappointed that you're not on top of this.
I thought TBS was the place to go, or TNT.
It's all over the place. They're worldwide.
Wow. I had no idea. That I don't have NFL Network. I don't think. Horse collar tag. Yeah, but Johnny Manziel is getting his third chance or whatever. Because he wasn't... Why did he leave... I think he was on the CFL?
Yes.
What happened to him?
User in your channel timed out.
Uh-oh.
Blake couldn't handle it.
Blake could not take the Manziel talk. Yeah, but this is still a thing. It's happening. Okay, Lola.
So, in other important sports news, we've learned that Rob Gronkowski is retiring.
Yeah, that's a huge news story. Wasn't he on the cover of Madden at one point?
I'm not sure.
User joined your channel.
Seems like he would be.
Pardon me, I was dropped. But I'm here. I'm back.
He was on the cover of Madden 2017.
You go put him on the cover of the AAL?
I don't think
he needs to slum it with them.
Oh, you moved on to talking about somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Gronkowski, the Gronk, has announced his retirement.
Yeah, we don't want to give too much time to the AAF, but we just want to keep acknowledging its existence so it doesn't go away. Just a little bit of coverage. But Gronk.
The important thing is the team I arbitrarily picked is their conference.
That's right. And the team I arbitrarily picked is second in theirs. These are some solid touchdown celebrations by Gronk here.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, why? I mean, it makes sense. Why not just go out on top?
Yeah. And he's 29. He's had a lot of injuries to his back and his neck and his knees.
Yeah.
He's
not going to get any healthier.
No, he's in a position where he gets beat up a lot, you know.
Also, his back was done before he got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
The reason he fell into the second round was because he was off a lot of people's boards due to medical.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of a miracle he lasted as long as he did, the way he plays.
He's also the runt of his family.
That's amazing. And of course, you had to include that highlight of him scoring an unbelievable touchdown against the Cleveland Browns, where one, two, how many people missed tackles? 2, 3.
It's not
4.
as bad as that time Mike Allstott broke 16 tackles in one play against you guys the year they went to the Super Bowl.
That was true. It was terrible.
It's one of the best games I've ever been to.
You were there?
I was there.
Oh, that's cool.
I lucked into a handicap seat right on the rail of the bottom upper deck, and it's the greatest experience I've ever had in a stadium. And it didn't make me wish I was handicapped, but it made me wish I could buy that ticket every time.
Mm-hmm.
I had my own personal attendant that asked me if I wanted drinks and all this stuff, and they would, I explained to them I wasn't handicapped, and they were just like, well, we have to be here anyway.
Oh, wow.
So I thought it was pretty awesome. Plenty of room to stretch out. I was able to put my feet up on the thing. Just living it up.
Watching the Browns.
Watching the Browns.
Yeah,
watching Tim Couch do his best.
This is now even more evidence that the Cleveland Browns are America's team. Because, look, Gronk, the most likable player on Tom Brady's team, is gone. And he's like his number one target. I think he has like the Patriots record for touchdowns. So, yeah, this is just more fuel for the Cleveland Browns win the Super Bowl. Yeah.
All right. Well, Oakland
Yeah,
is...
screw the Patriots, though.
Oh, F the Pats.
Yeah. While we're talking about that, I don't really like the Patriots. It's just we wanted to recognize that. And you know what? I think we should start talking Mortal Kombat on this show. Because there's some stuff happening.
That actually reminds me because I did want to talk about Sonic Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I don't think we got a chance to talk about this on the last show, but he was doing a Dragon Ball FighterZ tournament, and he was about to lose. He basically paused the game and quit out. Called it a day.
Yep. As you do.
Right? And I guess a lot of people took that as a big middle finger, but he's basically since then come out and said that he's just going to be focusing on Mortal Kombat 11 now.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's done. I think he's done with Dragon Ball FighterZ. He's kind of sick of the meta, and he's ready to move on to. He's very good at NetherRealm games, and I think he's just super into Mortal Kombat. It seems like 11's going to be his jam.
Yeah, and he's already said he's going to enter that tournament.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they had some announcements today. You got Jax, Kung Lao, and Liu Kang were added to the roster.
Kung Lao?
Yeah.
Yes. Bladed hat.
We also got Noob Saibot and Shang Tsung at GDC last week.
Yeah, the original Shang Tsung actor came back.
Mm-hmm.
Play him.
And then Kotal Khan is coming back.
Yeah, but that was already kind of he's in the trailer.
Yeah.
So you kind of already knew that, you know.
But it was confirmed.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can kind of confirm just by watching the trailer.
But Noob Saibot, I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, I'm wondering how it's gonna fit into the story. I need to finish the story for 10 before 11 comes out. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited about young Johnny Cage.
I'm excited about that whole dynamic between young and old. I think that's going to lend to some cool storytelling. But yeah, shout out to Sony for that state of play. That was pretty great. It was not... it was well-paced. They definitely borrowed a lot from how Nintendo Direct operates. I like that it wasn't a live stream, that it was basically just a video, Like there wasn't...
It was smart.
It's better production value. Definitely better production value and more efficient than, say, like an Inside Xbox. So, Well played, Sony, on copying Nintendo. That was a good move. Yeah, but this trailer though, oof.
Yeah,
This
the
game, like we need this. This is something we need to pay close attention to ahead of its release because this is going to be an instant esport. You know, this is one of those games where you can just say it. Like, yep, this
oh
is an
yeah,
esport. Where that's just not true with so many games these days.
it's already gonna be on the Evo main stage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh boy, I hope the online actually works on the PC this time.
That's a
Just kidding.
that's a good wish.
There.
It's just me chasing waterfalls.
Yeah.
Is that some what was that? What's that game? What was their last NetherRealm game?
Injustice 2.
Yeah, Injustice 2. Is that some Injustice 2 Salt?
It's Salt from the last several Mortal Kombats.
Okay.
NetherRealm doesn't make them, though. They are sourced out to other companies. NetherRealm works on the Xbox and PlayStation ones.
This is outstanding.
Johnny Cage versus Johnny Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Evil Liu Kang versus young Liu Kang. Jax versus Jax.
Mm-hmm.
Into it.
Yeah, this is gonna be cool. Oh, thank you, Hosted Radio, for the host. Yeah, that was some. Hosted? Look at this. Yeah, we did just get hosted. Oh, this is a pretty epic nut punch there to end the trailer. I want to say we used that for a header image on Shack today.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat. I'm wondering if this means we'll get Injustice 3 next year.
I think they're on like every 2-year cycle, so probably 2021. There would be if they do another Injustice.
Justice 2 was a couple years ago, though.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Since I could play a new Injustice. Oh yeah, now Crows, we got the Iron Man VR trailer playing.
Mm-hmm. This is
I'm also very excited about. I even enjoyed the. Did you ever play the Sega Iron Man game? For the movie when it came out.
No.
I remember a demo of it.
It was pretty one-trick pony, but it was actually kind of enjoyable. It got super repetitious, but
I never saw any ponies in the demo I played.
What? No ponies?
He said the game was full of trick ponies.
Oh.
I said it was kind of a one-trick pony.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I never saw any ponies.
You didn't get far enough in. You obviously didn't play that
This
much.
is a Iron Man VR game where you're flying around and shooting stuff.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And the cool part about being in the middle of the sky is you don't have to draw anything, so you can just clouds.
Yeah.
Good for performance. Yeah.
I think that could be pretty fun. You know, you're facing forward. The hand presence is going to be good. I don't know. That was a good thing to lead off with. I was like, oh, okay. It's cool to see Marvel making another game, or licensing out their property, taking risks in VR again. They did that. Shut up, Siri.
They did the Marvel VR game last year.
Yeah, what was
Oculus?
Mm-hmm.
It was like Marvel Superheroes VR, I think is what it was called.
Something Powers United, I want to say is what it was called.
Cool concept, kind of fun.
Yeah, it's Marvel Powers United VR for Rift, and yeah, it was 4-player co-op, kind of a beat 'em up in VR. It was okay.
Yeah, it didn't do anything phenomenal. It was a little too. Matches were a little too long, I think. Because it was all mostly just fight waves of enemies, kill a boss, then fight another wave. Rule of threes. So it took a long time to get through most. I digress.
Yeah, and then we got some Crash Team Racing news. That'll be out later this year.
Yeah. We also saw No Man's Sky VR. Which is pretty much just No Man's Sky, right?
It's a new mode. So it seems like it's a new mode. It works for free. It plays for free. So it's pretty cool.
Oh,
I guess it's
swim. Drive a bunch of vehicles. Did it make it easy to get access to all that stuff though? That's what I wonder.
This game has been updated a lot from when it shipped, so some stuff has become more accessible. I haven't really dove back in, but I imagine it's easier than when it launched. But yeah, that'll be cool. If you want your VR No Man's Sky, I always thought it'd be good in VR. I really liked whatever this is. What is this?
What the hell is this, Chris? Why are we watching? I've nothing to
I'm not offering any explanation for this. I don't feel that I have to.
Are we talking about Sekiro at this point?
I think swords are cool.
Okay.
Is that you?
I wish.
With your katana slicing.
If you think that was me, I would be here right now.
Yeah, seriously.
I would be off somewhere cutting a rope with some sword.
So, I have to ask you though: are you playing Sekiro?
Yes.
You liking it?
Yes, it is not as easy as cutting a pork loin hanging from a rope, but it's close. Not really. Close. It's tough. It's like Dark Souls, game. But you can't really grind souls to get your health and all that up. You have to just bear down and beat the boss to advance your character. Your sword is almost as sharp as what you're seeing here from these folks at Cold Steel. This is the ultimate home defense katana. In case ever you were to be home alone and robbers that were made of bamboo and car hoods broke into your house.
Damn! Oh,
don't sleep on these hot swords.
Is that a hood of a car?
It's a hood of a car.
Wow. Hot dang! A bucket full of blood. Just threw blood buckets.
Why?
Look at how much you can bend this sword.
Why?
Look at that.
That's
bends
40
all the
degrees. Way. You crazy person.
Why would you ever need to bend your sword like that?
50 degrees.
Swords
so how much is this sword?
They're varying the prices depending on the length of the blade and the series.
Do butchers normally use swords to cut?
Yes.
To cut up their meat? I'm just curious. Are these butchery swords? Are we watching like a butcher's commercial?
You're seeing this pig being cut clean, right? Why would a butcher not use this?
Why is this?
Yeah,
if you ever wondered how hot dogs are made, you're seeing it in slow motion.
Hot dogs are not made this way.
Did
they cook that afterwards?
Who knows?
They better.
They sure as shit cut it.
This is the most impressive one of them because look at satisfaction on his face.
Oh man.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Okay, it might be time to transition.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we're about entertaining here, and let me know when you stop being entertained.
Yeah, I'm not.
There's a lot more to talk about here.
I'm not really understanding any of this, really.
10 pieces of 1-inch rope. What is there not to understand there? And what's this? Why is he doing
Smurf jizz. Just cut up a bucket of Smurf jizz. Like it's
Oh, come on. Is that actual bamboo? What is this?
cut through military dummies.
Why would no? Okay, now enough.
No.
You don't have to cut soldiers up. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Let's just say the government finally comes to take your guns.
You're gonna need some swords.
You're definitely gonna need to cut through.
What is this?
Your Halloween Jello bake. Check out that blood, dog.
Chat, are you watching this?
What the hell is this?
Oh my goodness.
Why would you ever need to do that?
I think you guys are asking the wrong questions.
That's the Warrior O katana? Okay, I'm gonna Google this. I need to know how much it costs.
Look at how many pigs you can cut through. 1.5 pigs in a single slice. But don't worry, you're gonna come back for that other pig and really cut it through.
Is this Swords of the East?
This is not. This is from the fine folks at Cold Steel, who only offer the best American-made katanas and swords.
Okay. The Cold Steel Warrior Series O katana, retail price $650, currently on sale at their website bladecenter.com for $374.99.
Blades of steel. Wow. Literal blades of steel.
Yep. So yeah, thanks for that, Chris.
Is this a police officer?
No, this is the owner of the company. He's practices what he preaches.
I see. He has swords.
Oh, hey there. Are you sick and tired of these here pigs not getting sliced up enough?
This is a Sekiro ad.
Are you sick, or are you trying to kill shadows, but you keep dying twice? Well, trust me here. You want to pick up this here broadsword, and it'll deliver twice as much damage for half the work. Look, Darth Vader comes after you. So much for the Force now, huh? Darth Vader. That's right. You can chop through all sorts of inanimate crap. Don't worry. That sword's going to be fine. Someone's coming at you with a gun. Just slice that bullet in half. Feel like a real man cutting up a pig's head on a spike. Nothing says you are the chosen one.
Oh my goodness. This is pretty graphic.
I love the look the guy gives the camera afterwards.
That pig had a family.
Man, these guys, I want to know what these guys fantasize about. Like when they dream their dreams.
They cook up new things to chop.
Look at how majestic he's like standing. He's got like a tie that's too short. He's got this like, that's right, I got a big sword buddy stance going on.
Oh boy. This seems like a bad idea.
If you ever need to do pull-ups with your sword, don't worry. You can do pull-ups with your sword.
Why?
Oh, is this guy gonna do it? Nope, he's just gonna chop up more meat. I think it's time for us to play some video games. I can't take this anymore.
We should probably play some video games.
I don't know what the hell is going on, but I just think...
While you guys are playing Skyrim, I was watching this.
I
didn't play Skyrim. Yeah. Neither of us played Skyrim. So much for that.
Mm-hmm.
So much for that joke.
Oh, wait. How many of these is he going to be able to cut through?
Oh, bro. All of them, dog.
Wow.
If you ever buy a carpet store and you just got to cut up all the carpet really quick, don't worry. These swords, they got you covered.
What if you decided to fill your boots with ribeye?
Nope, they're sandals now.
With ribeye inside?
That's right. Fill your shoes with ground chuck and then slice them up and put them on the grill. It's a fun way to barbecue.
This is really giving me ideas for future Shacknews tournaments. And now the watermelon smashing competition. It's kind of just Gallagher with a sword.
I feel like Apple spent their money on the wrong type of content.
Look at this guy's helicopter motion, like a true barbarian.
Yeah.
Oh man. You know how ancient warriors would always come up against giant rope, the battlefield. Well, don't worry.
A balloon? Really? That was a demo? It can pop a
Oh,
balloon? Whoa, two pigs?
two pigs. Whoa, buddy.
Oh, two pigs' heads? Oh my goodness.
For Oh man, you ever need to stab a water barrel? Don't worry, this sword has got you covered.
Man.
I love the warrior stance every time though.
Mhm.
Like he's just vanquished his like arch nemesis or something.
Yep.
He's like, "That's right, I conquered my fears and became the hero you see today." Once again, good triumphs over evil. What the? So are we ready to play Battlefield 5 now? Is
Almost.
almost
Yeah.
ready? All right.
I mean, I'm okay with continuing to watch this. It isn't like we're not really losing viewers to this. I think if anything,
No,
the
if anything,
chat's
we're
become
gaining
more
viewers.
engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a problem here, chat, let us know that there's a problem and we will take care of it. If this is not what you want to see, please speak to us now.
Wow, did you see that wobble on the sword when we went through the ice?
Well, if the sword doesn't wobble, it'll break and take your eye out.
Yeah, that's solid.
Have you ever seen there's like a reality show competition where they have
Trash can. Why?
trash
Why? Why?
just to show you the cutting
Can you
power?
imagine if Sekiro was just you running around slashing trash cans full of green liquid open?
That'd be pretty cool.
I would be all over that game.
That's the end twist. It turns out you were just one of these delusional guys running around downtown Pittsburgh. Man,
This whole stabbing a car is really fascinating to me.
they're making speed holes for their hoods to make the car go faster.
It's oh my god, he threw it like a spear. You can even throw it like a spear at your car.
Oh,
Okay.
now they've gotten axes out. Okay, it's getting real now. Guy is a professional axe dude. Don't even try this at home, kids. That's right. These are tactical axes.
Tactical axes, Shack Tac axe.
Shack Tac Axe 5000 is it's great for all sorts of axe needs. You need to chop through some crap. What about some junk? Or maybe pieces of meat, random pieces of meat. That's right. Because,
Ugh. Oh man.
Oh, here
This
we go.
is
Now we're being sold. You know what I would, if I got a spear, you know what I'd name it?
Brittany.
Yeah, I'd name it Britney Spears.
Oh man.
Or Morgan Spearlock.
Yeah, I mean, what? 3D boar targets? Do they sell those?
Yeah. You got a 3D target of anything.
3D chickens. Look, if you were hunting a uncooked chicken.
Yeah. Most chickens in the wild are uncooked.
If you were hunting a man with no arms or legs.
Yeah, why are they showing
this
I guess my question for this demonstration
hunting
is why
wild
are they showing
tortillas. They're hunting wild tortillas.
Yeah. They seem to be very angry at
this is how your tacos get made, Asif. Your precious tacos.
Yeah, apparently. That's why they taste kind of funny, because they're always on the ground.
Yeah, they get a little dirty, but there's you show me a better way to cut up.
The whole turkey.
There is nothing more efficient than a spear for hunting.
Thank you, John.
There is a subscription. They're literally paying us to keep doing this.
You can't argue with that.
All right.
This pivot to covering swords is pretty great.
I
guess we could talk. Let's do sauce talk while this plays.
Well, we kind of run to the end of the B-roll of hot swords for the time being, but I want to remind folks that if you do want to talk about swords, check us out at Shacknews.com, on Twitter at Shacknews, and on YouTube at Shacknews Games. There's all sorts of stuff there, including swords.
Hot swords.
But we figured there's also a huge update to a big game that came out today. I figured we would take a look at that.
Sure.
Battlefield 5 released originally in November, and it's getting its first big update, Battle Royale, also known as Firestorm.